Hi crafty friends, Shana from Shanuki Art. This is card number 49 in Full Deck Challenge 2. The prompts are butterfly, green. And I'm going to be using this green butterfly in today's project. This butterfly sheet is available from Making and Creating, previously known as Digital Collage Club. It is a huge library of digital collage sheets and there are endless themes. I will put the link in the description box below. There's also a really generous discount if you use my code. I'm now going to prep my card by adding a piece of tissue paper on the face of the card. I'm using Mod Podge for this. Once I place the tissue paper over, I'm also going to add a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper. The reason for the second layer of Mod Podge over the top is to protect the tissue paper and make it a little bit more durable so I can add any kind of paint or other wet medium. Once that's nice and dry, I'm going to place my printed butterfly over the top. I'm then going to use this as a template and I'm going to trace around the butterfly, but I'm going to go bigger than what the butterfly actually is. What the idea is to have sort of a double butterfly with the playing card being the back part of the wings. So we want it slightly bigger so that it sticks out and you can see it. I'm doing this freehand and it's not going to be 100% even. I'm okay with that. If you want the wings to be exactly the same, you could sort of do one side and then trace that and then sort of put it onto the other side so you have two even sides, but freehand also works. Once I've done my pencil markings, I'm going to cut that out. It's never too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. Although we're nearing the end of Full Deck Challenge 2, you can start on any deck, on any card at any time. Do it at your own pace and have fun. I'll put a link to both playlists in the description box below. And if you're on Facebook, you can join my group. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. Once our playing card butterfly is cut out, I'm just going to place my original butterfly on top and just check if it fits in nicely and you can see the altered playing card, even just a little bit. I will make some small adjustments as needed. If you don't have a printed butterfly, you can always make one. Even from a magazine paper, you can find a page that's got pretty colors and you can trace around it and then cut out a butterfly. Or perhaps you find a picture of a butterfly in a magazine. Once I'm happy with the shape of my butterfly, I'm going to add some color. I'm going to stick with the blues and greens and light turquoises, as I really love that palette. I don't really use watercolors a lot, so for today I'm going to start with some watercolors and see how I go. I'm wetting my palette first, again just using the blues and the greens. I'm going to do a combination, sort of try and mix them together. And I'm going to apply on the edge of my butterfly and then put quite a lot of water and just give it a bit of a watery effect and let the paint move around on its own. I'm going to dab up the really big puddles of paint and the color for this butterfly is going to be added in different layers. I'm wanting a little bit more turquoise, so I'm going to use my Brusho powders. I'm just going back to what I am comfortable using, but I do need to practice using watercolors a bit more, maybe in another project. The paint is still very wet and mobile on the card, so I'm going to dry it and move it around as I'm drying, and it's going to create some beautiful patterns. Now my original idea was to have this just as the butterfly with the altered playing card in the background, but I'm finding this very underwhelming. So I'm going to extend the project and I'm going to go back and forth a few times and I'm going to make quite a few changes because for some reason this just wasn't working for me. But I do keep going. I will show you all the process that I go through and we are going to get to a happy final product. So I decided to put it onto some kind of a backing card. So I've cut a piece of cardstock. It is a beautiful scrapbook paper with the green spots and I've cut it slightly bigger than the butterfly. My original card that I used was a 4 of spades And I have the mini card version of the same suit, so I thought I wanted to try and incorporate that in too, so you could see a bit more of the card. I also have this piece of cardstock. It's actually from a Project Life card, and it's got the green lines on, which I think look really cool. And then I thought to cut my mini card in half and put it on each corner so that just the 4 of spades sort of sticks out. But that is totally getting lost in the background. We need to do something to those cards. I'm going to add some tissue paper over the top and see if I can add some kind of color or stamping on the top to make them sort of stand out a little bit. I think this video is a good reminder that things don't always work out how we imagine them in our head, but we shouldn't give up and we should just keep trying. It doesn't matter if it looks like a mess in the end or if it is a mess during the process. It's all part of learning, of experimenting, growing as an artist or a crafter. And if you just keep going, you do get an end result. It might not be what you wanted and you can just start again. It really is just paper after all. Just don't be afraid. I'm going to add some stamping to these. I'm using a green ink and I'm using my script stamp and just pressing gently on each piece. Drying that well and then placing it back onto my project. I'm going to stick my 2 butterfly pieces together. I'm using hot glue, and when I place it on, because it dries so quickly, I placed it skew. So we're just going to pull that off. It's fine. We're just going to peel off some of the glue. It doesn't matter that some of the paint has come off. The butterfly is going to go on top of that. I'm now adding the glue to the top butterfly and placing it better, and that is a bit more straight. But my little cut up mini card is still not looking great. What to do? I'm bringing in some green fabric. It's a beautiful green, and I'm thinking to place that as sort of a backdrop that'll hopefully make everything pop. I'm cutting it slightly smaller than my background spotty card. That mini card is still getting lost. It's not playing nicely with me today. So originally I cut it in half diagonally, and now I'm going to sew it back together using my sewing machine, because maybe as a whole card it will work better for me. Trying to see where I place it and if it'll work, I'm going to add some distress edging on the end with that same green ink just to help the card pop a bit more. And while I'm deciding what I'm doing with that mini card, I'm going to machine stitch the green fabric to the backing card. I think I need some sentiments. I'm going to go through my sentiments and pick 1 or 2 and see where they can go best on this layout. For some reason, I'm totally obsessed with this mini card and I really want to use it here, and it's just not working for me. I'm going to try another way. I'm going to fold it in half and use it like a tab, like you would, for example, for an index card or a page, and see if that'll maybe work with me. I'm not sure why I didn't give up on this card. I don't know, I think it got the better of me, but let's try it this way. I've machine stitched the tab to the left in the middle, and now I'm going to attach a sentiment to the right. I'm attaching it more to the right to balance out because I have the tab on the left, so it sort of is not all left heavy. And then I'm gluing down my butterfly. And I feel it needs a little bit more, so I'm going to add a second smaller sentiment above the original one that I put. And then I decide that I'm going to cut the tab down. I'm feeling that it's too big and too chunky on the left, so I'm cutting it in line with my card. And then I'm going to place the extra piece that I've just cut off on the top. Again, I'm going to machine stitch this. So it's really just added interest into the background now. It's not at all part of the focal point, which is what I was trying to do originally and it wasn't working. I've put it as part of the background. And now because I've cut the tab on the left, my wording that I placed to the bottom right, I don't feel is balanced. So I'm trying to see how I'm going to sort that out. I would prefer the sentiments to be centered now. that I feel would make it balanced. So I just pull the sentiments off. There is a little bit of glue residue left from the hot glue. I personally don't think that is bad, but you could cover it up with a piece of cardstock or another piece of fabric. What I am going to do though, to help the sentiment pop a little bit more, I'm going to give it a little bit of a backing. I'm sticking the sentiment onto a background. It's just some inking that I had done before. It's just a scrap actually, but I love the colors that it has. So I've stuck the sentiment onto that. Then I'm cutting around it, leaving about 2 millimeters around the sentiment. So it frames it with a beautiful turquoise and green. And then I'm going to stick this down. Yes, there is still a very small amount of hot glue to the right of the sentiment that is showing. Like I said, I don't mind. We could cover that up with a flower or a little die cut. I'm just going to leave it. As a final touch, I'm going to add some white splatter just over the entire card with very small droplets. I'm using a fan paintbrush and watered down white acrylic paint for this. I find that adding splatter at the end of a project over the entire thing makes everything cohesive and connect. I really like it and I use it a lot. I'm now going in with a dark green watercolor pencil. I'm dipping the point in some water and then I'm just going to draw a line all the way around the card. I'm only going to do it on the spotty paper. I'm not going to go and make a line where my mini card is, and I think this finishes it off really nicely. If you've watched this far, thank you for sticking it out for this marathon of an altered playing card. I really hope you enjoyed this video and were inspired to carry on and also to experiment and keep going if you're not happy with something. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching, happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!